Black boy saves racist billionaire. What happens next is unbelievable. The dazzling sun illuminated the picturesque streets of Monaco, where wealth and beauty coexisted in an almost surreal harmony. The sparkling Mediterranean waters reflected the glitz and glamour of the world's wealthiest playground, a place where luxury cars were as common as bicycles, and the scent of money filled the air. But before we dive into what happens next, I'd love to know, where are you tuning in from today? Drop a comment below and please like the video. Thank you. 16-year-old Jaden Cole, however, did not belong to this world of opulence. The son of a local fisherman, he spent his days helping his father mend nets and delivering fresh seafood to the city's exclusive restaurants. Jaden was known for his kindness and sharp mind, qualities that set him apart from many his age. Despite living humbly, he carried himself with pride and always offered a helping hand to those in need. On one fateful afternoon, Jaden was cycling down a winding coastal road to deliver a package of freshly caught lobsters. The route was quiet, with only the occasional roar of an exotic car breaking the serenity. As he neared a sharp turn, the screech of tires pierced the air, followed by a deafening crash. A silver Rolls-Royce had skidded off the road and slammed into a tree. Smoke billowed from the hood, and flames began licking at the edges of the luxury vehicle. Without hesitation, Jaden dropped his bike and sprinted toward the wreck. The driver, a woman in her late 40s, was slumped against the steering wheel, blood trickling down her temple. Her designer dress was scorched at the hem, and her manicured fingers twitched weakly. Jaden recognized her immediately. This was Claudia Van Horn, one of Monaco's wealthiest and most controversial figures. Known for her icy demeanor, sharp tongue, and openly racist remarks, Claudia had no shortage of enemies. Jaden himself had once been dismissed by her when he accidentally bumped into her during a delivery. "Watch where you're going, boy," she had sneered, her tone dripping with disdain. But none of that mattered now. Jaden's only thought was to save her. He yanked open the car door, coughing as acrid smoke enveloped him. "Ma'am, I'm here to help," he said firmly. She barely responded, her eyes fluttering as she fought to stay conscious. Jaden unbuckled her seatbelt and pulled her from the wreckage, just as flames engulfed the front seat. He dragged her a safe distance away, shielding her with his own body as the car exploded in a fiery inferno. The sound was deafening, and the heat seared his skin, but he didn't let go of her. Claudia's eyes opened briefly, and she muttered something incoherent before passing out. The ambulance arrived minutes later, along with a crowd of onlookers who had gathered to witness the spectacle. Jaden stayed by Claudia's side as paramedics loaded her onto a stretcher. His clothes were torn, his hands blackened with soot, but he refused to leave until he was sure she was safe. The next morning, Monaco's tabloids were ablaze with headlines. Fisherman's son saves billionaire in daring rescue. Jaden tried to avoid the spotlight, but his heroic act had made him the talk of the town. Claudia Van Horn, however, remained silent, recuperating in her sprawling estate. A week later, Jaden received an unexpected summons to the Van Horn mansion. His parents were wary, warning him about the woman's reputation, but Jaden decided to go. He had done nothing wrong and was curious about what she wanted. The estate was as intimidating as he had imagined: marble columns, manicured lawns, and a fleet of luxury cars parked in the circular driveway. A butler escorted him to a grand sitting room where Claudia sat, her arm in a sling and a bandage on her forehead. She regarded him with an inscrutable expression, her usual air of superiority subdued. "You're the boy who saved me," she began, her voice cold but tinged with something uncharacteristic: vulnerability. "Yes, ma'am," Jaden replied, standing tall despite the opulent surroundings. She gestured for him to sit, but he declined. Claudia frowned, unused to anyone defying her instructions, but she didn't press the issue. "Why did you do it?" she asked abruptly. "You could have walked away. You know who I am, don't you?" Jaden met her gaze without flinching. "Yes, ma'am. I know who you are. But I don't believe in leaving anyone to suffer, no matter who they are." Her eyes narrowed, searching his face for any sign of sarcasm or contempt, but she found none. For a long moment she was silent, her fingers tapping against the armrest of her chair. Then, to Jaden's shock, she said, "I owe you my life, and I hate owing anyone." Before he could respond, she picked up a folder from the table beside her and slid it across to him. "This is a scholarship to the International School of Monaco. Full tuition, all expenses paid. You're too smart to waste your potential on fishing boats." Jaden stared at the folder, his heart pounding. The international school was one of the most prestigious in the world, a gateway to limitless opportunities. But he hesitated, wary of her motives. "Why are you doing this?" he asked. Claudia's lips tightened. "Let's just say you've given me a lot to think about. Consider it a repayment of a debt." Jaden took a deep breath. "I'll accept the scholarship, but not because I think you owe me. I'll accept it because it's a chance to make something of myself." Claudia nodded, a faint smile playing on her lips. Smart boy. As the weeks turned into months, Claudia's transformation became evident. She began donating to local charities, funding programs for underprivileged youth, and quietly dismantling policies within her companies that had perpetuated inequality. Many speculated about the change, but only Jaden knew the truth. Their paths crossed occasionally, and each time Claudia seemed a little softer, a little more human. Jaden, meanwhile, thrived at his new school, his confidence growing with each passing day. What had started as a moment of desperation had blossomed into an unlikely connection that challenged both their perceptions of the world. And in the glittering city of Monaco, where appearances were everything, a black boy and a billionaire found common ground in the unlikeliest of circumstances. Jaden's scholarship to the International School of Monaco opened doors he had never imagined. The institution was a melting pot of cultures and ideas, filled with the children of diplomats, entrepreneurs, and tech innovators. At first, he felt out of place among students who arrived in private cars and spoke casually about summers in the Maldives. But his resilience, quick wit, and genuine nature soon earned him the respect of his peers and even his teachers. Claudia's name began to pop up occasionally in his life. Sometimes it was a congratulatory note when he aced an exam, and other times it was an anonymous donation to a school project he spearheaded. Jaden always knew it was her, though she never sought credit or recognition. Her actions were quiet but impactful, a stark contrast to the brash, unapologetic billionaire she had once been. One evening, months after their first meeting, Jaden received another invitation to the Van Horn estate. This time, it was for a formal dinner. He was hesitant, unsure of why she wanted him there, but his mother encouraged him to go. "She may be trying to thank you in her own way," she said, "and who knows, you might learn something." When Jaden arrived, the estate seemed even more imposing at night. The marble facade glowed under the soft light of lanterns, and the scent of blooming jasmine filled the air. Claudia greeted him personally at the door, dressed in an elegant yet understated gown. Her usual sharp demeanor was tempered with what almost seemed like warmth. The dining room was filled with influential figures, CEOs, philanthropists, and political leaders. Jaden quickly realized this wasn't just a dinner, it was an event, one where alliances were forged and deals were made. Claudia introduced him to several guests, calling him a young man with a bright future. Her words carried weight, and Jaden could feel the eyes of the room on him. During dinner, the conversation turned to Monaco's growing income disparity and the challenges faced by its working-class citizens. Claudia spoke with a conviction that surprised even Jaden. "We've built our lives on the backs of people we rarely think about," she said, her voice steady. "It's time we take responsibility and create opportunities for them to thrive." The room fell silent. Many of the guests exchanged glances, clearly unaccustomed to hearing such sentiments from someone of her stature. Claudia ignored their discomfort, turning to Jaden. "This young man saved my life, not just physically but in ways I'm still discovering. He reminded me that wealth means nothing if it doesn't serve a greater purpose." Jaden felt his face grow warm under the attention, but he met her gaze with a small nod. He could see now that her transformation was genuine, born from introspection and a desire to atone for her past. After the dinner, Claudia pulled Jaden aside. "I've been working on something," she said, handing him a sleek folder. Inside was a proposal for a foundation dedicated to providing scholarships, mentorship, and resources to underprivileged youth in Monaco. The foundation was named the Cole Initiative. Jaden was speechless. "You named it after me?" She smiled, a rare softness in her expression. "You've inspired this. Your courage, your kindness. It's what the world needs more of. I want you to be a part of it if you're willing." Jaden nodded slowly, overwhelmed by the weight of what she was offering. "I'd be honored," he said, his voice steady despite the emotions swirling inside him. Over the next year, the Cole Initiative became a beacon of hope in Monaco. It funded educational programs, vocational training, and community projects, touching the lives of thousands. Jaden became its ambassador, speaking at events and working closely with Claudia to shape its direction. Their partnership wasn't without challenges. Claudia's past remained a shadow, with critics questioning her motives. But she faced the scrutiny head-on, refusing to shy away from her history. "I can't change who I was," she said in an interview, "but I can choose who I want to be moving forward, and I want to be someone who makes a difference." For Jaden, life continued to evolve. He graduated at the top of his class and was accepted into a prestigious university where he planned to study business and social entrepreneurship. His relationship with Claudia deepened, evolving into a mentorship that defied societal expectations. One afternoon, as they sat on the terrace of her estate overlooking the azure waters of the Mediterranean, Claudia turned to him. "You've changed me, Jaden," she said, "not just by saving my life, but by showing me what integrity looks like." He smiled, gazing at the horizon. "And you've shown me that people can change if they want to." Their journey wasn't just about redemption or gratitude. It was about the profound impact one person can have on another. In a world often divided by prejudice and privilege, Jaden and Claudia proved that empathy and understanding could bridge even the widest gaps. Their story became a testament to the power of transformation, inspiring others to look beyond the surface and find common humanity.